Ali Abulaban, a young soldier stationed in Okinawa, Japan, felt the weight of military life pressing down on him. Each day blurred into the next, filled with drills, duties, and the distant hum of military aircraft. The vibrant nightlife of the local bar provided a welcome escape, filled with laughter and the clinking of glasses. But Ali felt an emptiness within. He longed for something more, something real. That all changed one fateful evening. As Ali sat at the bar nursing a drink, his eyes landed on Anna, a spirited Filipina working as a waitress. Her smile lit up the dimly lit room, and when their eyes met, it was as if time stood still. The world around them faded away, leaving only the two of them in a bubble of possibility. They struck up a conversation that flowed effortlessly, filled with laughter and shared stories. Ali shared tales of his life in the military, the camaraderie he felt with his fellow soldiers, and the loneliness that often accompanied him. He spoke of long nights spent staring at the stars, contemplating his future, and the sacrifices he had made for his country. Anna, in turn, opened up about her dreams of becoming a fashion designer, the sacrifices she had made to come to Japan, and the family she missed back home in the Philippines. In that moment, Ali felt a spark of hope igniting within him. Anna's laughter was infectious, and her passion for life reminded him of the dreams he had buried under the weight of duty. Anna, too, felt a connection, a sense of belonging that she had longed for since leaving home. They exchanged phone numbers, promising to meet again, both feeling a sense of excitement they hadn't experienced in years. After a whirlwind romance that felt like a dream, Ali and Anna decided to marry. Their wedding was a beautiful celebration filled with joy, laughter, and the promise of a bright future. Surrounded by friends and family, they danced under the stars, oblivious to the challenges that lay ahead. But beneath the surface, cracks began to form. Moving to Virginia and welcoming their baby girl brought immense joy, yet it also introduced stress and uncertainty. The transition was overwhelming. Ali felt the weight of responsibility crushing him. The pressure to provide for his family loomed large, and sleepless nights became his new normal. He struggled to balance his military duties with his role as a husband and father. Meanwhile, Anna found herself grappling with the reality of motherhood. The dreams of becoming a designer slipped further away as she navigated diaper changes, sleepless nights, and the demands of a growing child. She felt isolated, trapped in a world that seemed to revolve solely around her baby. As the days turned into weeks, small arguments erupted over trivial matters. Who would take care of the baby, household chores, and finances? Each disagreement seemed to reveal deeper frustrations, and the love that once bound them began to fray at the edges. The tension in their home felt palpable, like a storm brewing on the horizon. Ali and Anna were caught in a cycle of misunderstanding, both longing for connection, yet feeling increasingly isolated. Ali felt guilty for not being present enough, while Anna yearned for his support and understanding. As Ali gained popularity on TikTok, showcasing snippets of his life as a soldier and father, his personality began to shift. The attention he received fed his ego, but it also sparked a darker side. He became more controlling and possessive, viewing Anna's interactions with others through a lens of suspicion. Anna noticed the change in Ali. The once supportive partner now scrutinized her every move, questioning her whereabouts and the people she interacted with. His jealousy grew like a weed, choking the love they had nurtured. What started as innocent concern morphed into a suffocating grip that left Anna gasping for air. Ali began to isolate Anna from her friends, subtly suggesting that they were a bad influence. He insisted on knowing where she was at all times, checking her phone for messages, and even going through her social media accounts. Anna felt like a prisoner in her own home, her freedom stripped away. Anna felt trapped in her own home, the walls closing in around her. The man she had fallen in love with was becoming a stranger, and the fear of losing him was overshadowed by the fear of losing herself. She started to question her own sanity, wondering if she was overreacting or if there was truly something wrong. One fateful evening, after a particularly explosive argument, Anna reached her breaking point. She dialed 911, her hands trembling as she reported Ali's violent outbursts. As the sirens wailed in the distance, panic surged through her. Would they believe her? Would they take her seriously? When the police arrived, Anna felt a mix of relief and fear. She was terrified of the consequences of her actions, but knew she couldn't continue living in fear. The officers questioned her, and Anna struggled to find the right words. She didn't want to hurt Allie, but she also couldn't ignore the reality of her situation any longer. The officers listened intently as Anna recounted her experiences, Allie's controlling behavior, the isolation, and the fear that had seeped into every corner of her life. They assured her that she was not alone, that help was available, and that she had the right to feel safe. Standing there, Anna felt like a character in a thriller movie, her heart racing as she faced the unknown. She was desperate for help, but terrified of what it might mean for her family. The police left with a promise to check in on her, but Anna knew the battle was far from over. After that night, Anna made the painful decision to leave their home and stay with friends. It was a heart-wrenching choice, but she knew it was necessary for her safety and her daughter's well-being. Allie, feeling abandoned and betrayed, promised to change. He pleaded for another chance, vowing that he would be the husband and father they both deserved. But Anna had seen the darkness lurking beneath his promises, and she knew she had to protect herself and their daughter. During their time apart, Anna began to rediscover herself. She volunteered at a local shelter, connecting with other women who had survived domestic violence. Each story she heard resonated deeply, empowering her to reclaim her voice. She began attending support groups where she found solace in the shared experiences of others. But Ali's jealousy only intensified. He began stalking her, convinced she was moving on without him. He would show up unannounced at places she frequented, sending her messages filled with anger and desperation. Anna felt a mix of fear and determination. She had to remain strong for her daughter, but the constant threat of Ali's presence loomed over her like a dark cloud. Anna felt a mix of liberation and anxiety. She had stepped into the light but was constantly looking over her shoulder, fearing Ali's wrath. The strength she found in herself was overshadowed by the threat he posed. Her heart ached for the love they once shared, but she knew that love had turned toxic. On a day that would change everything, Ali installed a listening device in their home, desperate to uncover what Anna was up to. When he overheard her laughing and chatting with another man, his rage ignited like a powder keg. He jumped in his car, heart pounding, determined to confront the situation head-on. As he stormed into the apartment, Ali felt a rush of adrenaline. He saw Anna and Rayburn sharing a lighthearted moment, and in that instant, all his pent-up anger exploded. He lost control, blinded by jealousy and fear. Words flew like daggers, accusations filled the air, and the atmosphere became charged with tension. Ali was engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions, rage, betrayal, and desperation. He couldn't accept the thought of losing Anna, and in that moment, he believed he was fighting for her. The love that once brought them together had morphed into a toxic spiral of obsession and fear. In a moment of sheer madness, Ali pulled the trigger. The deafening sound of gunfire shattered the air, and within seconds, Anna and Rayburn lay lifeless on the floor. As Ali stood there, horror washed over him, drowning out the adrenaline that had fueled his actions. He couldn't comprehend the magnitude of what he had done. Panicking, he fled the scene, his mind racing with disbelief. How could this have happened? The love he once felt for Anna twisted into something grotesque and unrecognizable. He drove aimlessly, the weight of guilt pressing down on him like a heavy shroud. Ali was engulfed in a storm of regret and despair. The weight of his actions crashed down on him, leaving him feeling hollow and broken. Memories of happier times with Anna and their daughter haunted him, taunting him with what could have been. After the shooting, Ali called 911, pretending to be a concerned citizen. He kept his voice steady, but inside chaos reigned. When the police arrived, they quickly pieced together the tragic events, uncovering the signs of control and violence that had plagued Ali and Anna's relationship. Ali found himself trapped in a nightmare he couldn't escape. Memories of happier times with Anna and their daughter haunted him, taunting him with what could have been. He felt like a ghost in his own life, unable to face the reality of his actions. Ali was consumed by guilt and fear, trapped in a psychological horror. The weight of his choices pressed down on him, suffocating any remnants of hope. He could feel the walls closing in, and the realization of what he had done became an unbearable burden. Ali faced trial for first-degree murder, and the courtroom buzzed with tension. His defense attorney argued that he acted in a moment of rage, while the prosecution painted a chilling picture of a calculated crime fueled by jealousy. Witnesses, including Anna's friends and family, shared their accounts of her struggles, painting a vivid picture of the abuse she had endured. As the trial unfolded, Anna's story became a rallying cry for those facing domestic violence. Her family spoke passionately about her dreams, her love for her daughter, and the pain of losing her to violence. The courtroom was filled with tears, anger, and heartbreak as they recounted the life Anna had fought so hard to build. Anna's family felt a profound sense of loss and injustice. They couldn't comprehend how someone they once embraced could commit such a horrific act. Their pain was palpable, and they were determined to honor Anna's memory by fighting for justice. This story was not just a tragedy, it was a powerful lesson about the insidious nature of control and domestic violence. Anna and Roburn's lives were cut short, but their story would serve as a reminder to others. Survivors of domestic violence found strength in Anna's tale, vowing to raise their voices and break the silence. Anna became a symbol for the movement against domestic violence, inspiring organizations to launch campaigns aimed at raising awareness. Her image appeared on posters and flyers, urging everyone to speak out against abuse. Survivors began sharing their stories, creating a supportive community where they could find solace and strength. Anna's legacy became a beacon of hope for many. Though she was no longer here, her spirit lived on, empowering others to reclaim their lives and speak out against violence. The world began to change, slowly but surely, as more people recognized the signs of abuse and took action. In the aftermath of the trial, Anna's family established a foundation in her name, dedicated to helping survivors of domestic violence. They organized workshops, support groups, and educational programs to raise awareness about the signs of abuse and the resources available to those in need. The foundation became a sanctuary for many, offering a safe space where survivors could share their stories and find healing. Anna's mother, who had once felt powerless, became a powerful advocate, speaking at events and sharing Anna's story to inspire others. The foundation brought a sense of purpose to Anna's family. They transformed their grief into action, channeling their pain into something that could help others. The community rallied around them, creating a support network that grew stronger with each passing day. As time passed, Anna's legacy continued to inspire change. Survivors began to speak out more boldly, sharing their experiences and demanding justice. The conversations around domestic violence shifted, and more people began to understand the complexities of abusive relationships. Ali, on the other hand, faced the consequences of his actions. He was sentenced to prison, where he had time to reflect on the choices he had made. In the solitude of his cell, he grappled with the weight of his guilt and the loss of the life he once had. He began to write letters, expressing his remorse and seeking forgiveness. Ali's journey was one of deep introspection. He realized that his actions had irrevocably changed the lives of many, including his own. The pain he caused became a constant reminder of the man he had become, and he vowed to change, even from behind bars. As Anna's foundation grew, it began to attract attention from local media and advocacy groups. They organized events to raise funds for survivors, providing them with resources to escape abusive situations. The community came together, participating in walks, runs, and awareness campaigns, all dedicated to Anna's memory. One significant event was the annual Walk for Anna, where hundreds gathered to honor her life and raise awareness about domestic violence. Survivors shared their stories, and community leaders spoke about the importance of recognizing the signs of abuse and supporting those in need. The event was filled with a mix of sorrow and hope. Anna's family felt a sense of pride knowing that her story was making a difference, and survivors felt empowered to share their truths. The support from the community created a sense of belonging, reminding everyone that they were not alone. As the years passed, Anna's foundation expanded its reach, partnering with schools to educate young people about healthy relationships and the importance of consent. Workshops and seminars were held, teaching students how to recognize red flags and encouraging them to speak out against abuse. Anna's story became part of the curriculum, inspiring a new generation to advocate for themselves and others. The foundation also launched a mentorship program, pairing survivors with young women looking for guidance and support. Anna's family felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing they were creating positive change in the world. They had turned their grief into a powerful force for good, and Anna's legacy lived on through the lives they touched. Years later, Anna's family gathered to reflect on the journey they had taken since her tragic death. They shared stories of hope, resilience, and the impact of Anna's foundation. Each family member spoke about the changes they had witnessed in their community and the lives they had helped transform. Anna's mother, now a seasoned advocate, shared how far they had come. "Every time we help a survivor find their voice, I feel Anna with us," she said, tears in her eyes. "She is the reason we fight, the reason we continue to share her story." The family felt a profound sense of healing and purpose. They had turned their tragedy into a movement that was saving lives and empowering others. Anna's spirit lived on in every life they touched, and they were determined to keep her memory alive. This tale is not just a narrative of loss, but a wake-up call about toxic relationships and the dangers of unchecked fame. It reminds us that even the most beautiful moments can hide deep shadows. Through Anna's journey, we learn the importance of seeking help and speaking out against abuse. Survivors must know they are not alone, and there are people ready to support them in their fight. As the world remembers Anna and Roburn, they become symbols of resilience and hope. Their story encourages a dialogue about domestic violence, urging society to take a stand against it. In the end, it is a reminder that love should never hurt, and every voice matters in the fight for justice. Anna's legacy lives on, not just in the hearts of those who knew her, but in the countless lives she touched through her story. The foundation continues to grow, reaching more survivors and providing them with the resources they need to rebuild their lives. In a world where darkness can often overshadow light, Anna's story serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us all of the power of resilience and the importance of standing together against violence.